Right, we are recording. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Benchwarmers Podcast. I'm Jacob.
I'm Sam.
I'm Baiden.
And we are here to talk about all the happenings in the Cleveland sports of this week. We're starting
all the happenings.
We're starting in week 9 of the NFL season right now, beginning of the NBA season. And so the first thing I want to lead it off with, I'm going to hand it over to Sam, who's going to give us the rundown on the Cavs this week.
All right. So, I'm going off of this because I don't know when Lauri Markkanen's coming back from what is it, health and safety protocols, right?
Yeah.
The European menace. I don't know. Shoot, that sounded so bad. Even whiter, Dirk Nowitzki. Can I say that? I think I can say that. I'm gonna say it. Our 3 7-footer lineup. Now I have absolutely zero stats to back it up, but the eye test looks incredible. So I don't know if anybody else is. I know that Baiden has, and I know that Jacob's watched like 1 or 2. But when we roll out the 3 7-footer lineups, it works. We're playing like it's 1988, and it's absolutely magnificent. Everybody else goes small. We're throwing out 3 7-footers and Kevin Love, and it doesn't miss.
Yeah. I agree. I went to 1 game this season. I haven't watched any of it, at all. But from what I saw, the very limited sample size, I would say that we need even more 7-footers. I would say.
Yeah, I feel like we need that one lineup the Nuggets ran in the bubble where they had Jokic at point guard. We need that lineup.
That was so good. I don't know. We have Taco Fall, and then I guess the next is Ed Davis, like 6'11". I think Ed Davis is like 6'11".
I forgot Ed Davis is on our team. So we got Ed Davis, Kevin Love, Mobley, Markkanen, and Jared Allen. Mobley running point guard. I'd
be down to watch.
No, we'd have Jared. We would have Jared Allen running point guard.
That would work too.
That'd be incredible to watch. So I want to pose a question for you guys. What's you're the manager for the night. You're the coach. What's your starting 5? Assuming everyone's healthy.
All right. The best lineup. I'm a Colin Sexton believer, so I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I get that.
We go we put Darius Garland on the bench and we run with Rubio. I want to see Colin facilitate the offense. Colin, Okoro, Markkanen, Mobley, Allen. I just want to see how it works. Colin's a little bit more of a scoring threat than Garland, so I think that defenses are going to come out of the paint to guard him because he can shoot a little bit, and Okoro's just going to be a lockdown defender.
I understand wanting to see Colin Sexton try to be more of a facilitator, but that's just not his game. We've clearly seen that the first few years of his career.
Sexton loves.
I probably would want to see the regular lineup. Garland, which would be what? Garland, Sexton, Okoro, Mobley, and Allen.
Yeah,
I know that's
lame.
I know that's
the answer.
That's the easy. I know it's the easy answer, but I just feel like it kind of has all the skill sets that you want in a starting lineup. We have a scorer in Sexton, a playmaker in Garland who can also score himself.
Yeah.
You get a defensive-minded player in Okoro, a do-it-all big in Mobley, and a rim protector, interior force in Allen.
Yeah. And here's my secondary question: who's your first sub, and why?
Jetty Osman. Put in Jetty Osman no matter what.
And for your lineup, that probably makes a bit more sense. But
yeah, that's true.
It's probably Rubio. He's like,
Rubio's the obvious.
He's been great. He's been everything I've hoped a backup. The Cavs have desperately needed a backup point guard since prime Matthew Dellavedova. We haven't had a good one since then.
What was last year's backup point guard?
Man.
We were Spanish Jesus indeed. Last year we were running out 35-year-old Dellavedova, and who else? We had one guy who just touched the court twice.
Was it Dante Exum?
No, we traded Dante Exum.
Who was it?
I feel we were just running Garland and Sexton into the ground.
Let me look at 2020.
I would just like to say that Zoom just gave me a pop-up. It says, running out of time, we've removed the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting. So I would like to say thank you, Zoom, for the sponsorship. We really appreciate it. First sponsor, we're only 5 minutes in.
Officially sponsored by Zoom. We kill it. We kill it.
When has Zoom ever had a 40-minute time limit?
What just happened? What just happened?
Sorry, I'm
watching Tulsa, Cincinnati. I looked away from my screen. I just saw a bunch of players fly into the end zone, jumping onto the ball. It was 4th and goal. I have no idea what just happened. I think Cincinnati just recovered a fumble. This game is so wild. Cincinnati recovered a fumble in the end zone.
I found it. I found our backup point guard. It was Yogi Ferrell.
I'm looking at Basketball Reference right now. It was Yogi Ferrell.
Yeah, we were playing Quinn Cook for a little bit, and to go from Quinn Cook and Yogi Ferrell to Ricky Rubio,
so much better.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, these Cavs lineups aren't a nightmare to watch anymore. Like we lead the league in dunks.
I think we're the two players, 1 and 2 in dunks in the league with Mobley and Allen.
It's crazy.
Mobley goes crazy, man. He's the Nick Chubb of the Cavs.
That is so accurate too,
bro. Mobley, I'm not saying this just because I'm a Cavs fan. I truly believe this. Before the draft, he has Anthony Davis potential. I think
Mobley right now is a front runner for Rookie of the Year. Mobley. Yeah. Mobley's been balling out.
Your 3 front runners undoubtedly should be Chris Duarte, Scotty Barnes, and Evan Mobley. Yeah. Any 3 of those, and there's no other option.
I'm nodding along and saying, I really don't know who any of those players are except for Mobley. But I gotta.
It's okay. You can carry the Browns segment, but we got the Cavs segment in the bag.
Yeah.
But in regards to that rotation thing that we were just talking about, I really just wanted to posing it out to Kobe Altman, extend the rotation. We went into an 8-man rotation at the beginning of this season and have not gotten away with it since. We were running our guys into the ground. It's ridiculous.
I agree.
Guys, you need guys like Lamar Stevens. They need time. Who else?
Denzel Valentine deserves a shot.
Don't.
Just putting that out there.
No, I mean we need to
3 minutes a game for him. Like Denzel Valentine, there's no.
We should be putting in Dylan Windler when everybody gets healthy. We should have Dylan Windler and Lamar Stevens back into the lineup.
So
who's that?
A regular lineup. Let's just say we're using the lineup I just said. Garland, Sexton, Okoro, Mobley, Allen. The bench should be Rubio, Osman, Windler, Dean Wade, Stevens,
that NPC point guard? What's his name?
Taco Fall. We could run 12 guys pretty easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
We forgot about Lauri Markkanen, but we'll leave that alone for right now.
We actually have a lot more depth than I truly think, especially at the big man position. Obviously, we already knew, but but we need wings. Like this upcoming draft we need that star-studded offensive two-way wing. Yeah, I think that's probably just what we need at this point.
I honestly don't think the draft is what we should be worrying about because we're not going to have a top half pick.
That's right. Playoff season.
Here's my take. I think out of the AFC, not AFC. I'm in the football mindset. In the Eastern Conference, I think because they're still doing the playoff, right? They're gonna.
Yeah, they're 6-4 right now.
Yeah, the Cavs. I said the playoff to get the play-in tournament.
The play-in, they're still doing that.
Yeah, so I think the Cavs will either be in the top half or the bottom half of the play-in. I think one way or another, they will get their shot at making the playoffs.
You said top half or bottom half of the play-in,
So we're 10 through 7. I think that's a reasonable projection for the Cavs.
Yeah,
we're not going to be the top half of the East. We might be we might be sneaking into the 6th seed. But right now, this group just needs some playoff experience. Yeah. The only guy I think who has played in playoff games is Kevin Love and maybe Ed Davis.
And Rubio has a little bit.
Rubio has a little
just bit. The Timberwolves were perennially trash, so he doesn't have that much. Even though he's one of the oldest guys on the team.
Wasn't he on the Jazz?
No, was he on the?
Rubio was on the Jazz. Yeah, Rubio was on the Jazz when they beat the Thunder in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm right. I'm 1,000% right. Rubio was on the Jazz.
I don't think he is, but whatever. I don't know. I think it just because Colin. Did Colin get any playoff experience that year with LeBron? I don't think.
No, he wasn't. He never played with LeBron.
He came the year after that.
We drafted him the year he left.
Yeah, man, LeBron. Better days.
He'll come back. He'll come back and he'll win a championship.
He will retire as a Cav. I have no. There's no doubt.
1,000%.
He'll retire as a Cav. Is he gonna get his jersey Is he gonna get his jersey retired by 3 teams?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that bubble championship is probably going to mean a lot more to the Lakers than
Mickey Mouse.
L plus La Mickey stole rings.
I think he's just he already won a championship for the Lakers.
I don't know. I think he needs
probably the fourth. He's already the 4th greatest Laker of all time after Kobe, Kareem, and Magic.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I wouldn't
are
you gonna is that really that crazy to say?
I put Shaq.
I think there's.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about Shaq. My bad. I completely forgot about Shaquille O'Neal. And honestly, I might have to retract that statement because
there's just so many good Lakers. I think it's hard to put
Jerry West. And we're just talking about what he specifically did. Yeah, let me retract that statement. He's not top 3. He's probably not even top.
If he wins
6
another
or
ring,
7.
I don't.
If he wins another ring, yes.
I don't think
yes.
If he wins another ring, it'll be. I would probably say Kareem, or I'd say in terms of just purely based on the time. If he wins another ring,
I would be okay with putting him definitively top 5.
Definitively, yeah, for sure. If we're talking about just their time with the Lakers, I'd say Magic, Kobe, Kareem, LeBron. If he wins another ring.
Yeah, that's fair. So we've got the Cavs play the Knicks this tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow. Yeah. I mean Sunday the 7th. I don't know whenever this episode comes out. So I wanted to talk about my keys to the game, just like they do at the actual Cavs game. They put the Kia icon on the board and they're like keys to. So Evan Mobley versus Julius Randle. Obviously, Julius Randle is going to generate so much offense for them. He's a distributor, which is really weird. I never thought that was a part of his game.
He's become a complete offensive threat.
I think the best way we win this is you tell Julius Randle it's a playoff game.
Damn, you didn't have to do him like that.
He's done.
That's so wild. That's so wild. That's so wild.
I agree. He's become a complete package over the last year and a half.
All jokes aside, Julius Randle is a pretty impressive player.
Yeah. And I'm gonna put in one of my keys to the game. Like I know Sam hasn't done that yet, but I think it's probably just make the Knicks. I wouldn't say make them shoot more threes because they're pretty decent, but if you can force them into more contested shots.
Yeah, force
because I watched the game. I watched the Bucks Knicks game yesterday, and they were jacking up threes that weren't any good, and they found themselves down 21 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
But they got Derrick Rose in the game, and he was just able to. He willed them back into the game. He basically did that, being a savvy veteran guard. So we can't really let
Derrick Rose. He's incredible. Derrick Rose's career is. I mean, it's what?
What a wild ride.
Most players, start low, they go up and they come down. Rose, it's the opposite. I mean,
he started high, went low, and went back up high.
Same with I mean, Rose is.
Do you guys think he's a Hall of Famer?
At the end of his career, yes, he's a Hall of Famer because of where this Knicks. I firmly believe this Knicks team is a conference finals team.
Yeah.
Hot take, but I am so confident in this Knicks team.
A contender. I don't think they're a top 2 team in the conference.
Oh no, they're a top half team. And
I'd say the Bucks are still the best team. I know the Knicks just beat them, but the Bucks have been struggling, but they've just dealt with a lot of injuries. I think they're a better team than they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the best team, and then actually, I might say the Knicks are at this moment because the Nets are just not the same. Like, I understand.
Grayson Allen over James Harden after the rule change. Hot take.
Like James Harden has not been the same. I'm definitely surprised about that. But yeah, I think the Knicks might be the second best team in the East right now.
Back to the keys to the game. So that was the first one, the Mobley versus Julius Randle matchup. Mobley's got to lock him down. Jared Allen has to lock him down.
This is what I mean. How many big tests has Mobley had yet this year? This might be number one.
Randle will probably be number one, but he has had a couple. He did pretty well against Yusuf Nurkic a couple of nights ago during that Portland game. Of course, the Rookie of the Year matchup with Scotty Barnes.
I mean, it's not
such a good game.
It's not like I don't think Mobley's really particularly struggled with anything so far. Yeah, also, I just saw a statistic. Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are currently number 1 and number 2 in the league in contested shots.
Yeah, Evan Mobley leads the league 136 total contested shots. Contested shots per game 15, and total contested 3-pointers 49. As a rookie, he's looking
goodness. Whoa, what was that? Oh my! Sorry guys, I'm watching college football. We all know college football can get crazy. I'm watching Alabama LSU. LSU was about to go for a punt, but they faked it. The punter looked like he was about to run up the middle, and then he pitched it up forward to a receiver. It was just a wild play.
Speaking of trick plays,
it might happen another bunch of times during this podcast. College football is so wild. We've already seen.
Did you guys see Purdue beat MSU?
Yeah, dude.
Purdue is.
Give Cincinnati their respect. I demand they are in the CFP now.
They barely beat
Georgia,
Tulsa.
Alabama, OSU, Cincinnati.
There's no reason they should be out of it. Honestly,
I honestly don't. I don't mind that they're not. I don't mind that they're out of it right now because I feel like with the way things would line up, and if they win out, they'd be in. But at the same time, they gotta win and look good while doing it, and barely beating a 3-5 Tulsa team by 8.
Yeah,
which honestly makes Ohio State look better because that's probably the reason why Ohio State may not have been that top 4 is because of their struggles against Tulsa.
Yeah.
At this moment, Georgia is the best team in the country. I don't think anyone can doubt.
Yeah. That's not debatable.
I think it's 2 through 7 is a toss-up in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think Alabama's the second best team.
Alabama's still being in there after their best win is against this Texas A&M team.
Them at 2 is wild. That's just. You got to look at the resume, and you lost to Texas A&M with their backup quarterback.
I think.
Oh, right.
I can't. How am I gonna have that team over?
You can't leave Alabama out of the college football playoff if they've only lost 1 game. If they lose another.
That's true. If they win out, they're in. That means they beat. That would have meant because that would have meant Alabama would have beat Auburn. They would have beat.
And
they would have beat Georgia. They're definitely in.
I see that. So back to basketball.
What an entertaining podcast this has been. I don't know if Okoro is going to be back. This is my second of 3. I got one more. So if Okoro is going to be back, we got to put him on RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett looks so good.
I agree.
I love RJ Barrett as a player. I'm just a really big fan of him because who are we going to guard him with right now? Jetty Osman, decent on defense. I'm a big Jetty Osman fan, biggest Jetty fan in the world. But
you're a lot higher on Osman than I am.
It's going to be hard to guard. What RJ Barrett's 6'5", 6'6". What our shooting guard position looks like. Oh, Dylan Windler, I guess, but Dylan Windler is not good on defense, especially against a shot creator like RJ Barrett. I think it's just going to be hard to guard him with 6'1" Colin Sexton or 6'1" Darius Garland.
Yeah, that's the thing about that I liked about the Cavs is they're putting defense around that backcourt because the backcourt that's a backcourt that I think in their prime would probably combine average close to 50 points per game.
Yeah.
but they just won't have the. They're just not going to bring enough defensively. So getting Mobley, getting Allen, Okoro, like
Okoro's a dog.
that's probably the rest of their starting lineup, and they're all known for what they bring on the defensive side of the ball.
Baiden, your voice is so silky smooth. Oh my God, it's giving me ASMR.
I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel about that.
Sorry, that's fine. And then the last key to the game, the last key to the Kia that's going to drive us to this win is feed Jared Allen. Honestly, yeah. Mitchell Robinson's not going to guard that man.
Yeah,
Nerlens Noel is not going to guard that man.
has a pretty good impact on defense. I saw it in the Bucks game yesterday, but he's also coming. It will be his third game back from injury. He's definitely not 100% the player Nerlens Noel was last year. So I think Jared Allen could have a pretty good game.
Yeah, I just want to say this is gonna sound like a really old take, like an outdated take. So I'm gonna start it with young fella. Young fella, you can't underestimate the importance of a good, strong center. You need dominant center play. Because I get that the NBA is making centers less and less valuable. The way the game's changing, fine. But when you have a center in the paint, you need a big, dominant center. That's the truth. I think a big, dominant center is a key piece of any really good team.
I don't think you need it, but you definitely need some sort of interior presence.
Yes. I don't think that you need
look, I mean, the Warriors just won, 3 championships in 4 years, and they had centers rolling in and out every single year.
Well, what was it? JaVale McGee?
JaVale McGee, Kevin Looney, Andrew Bogut, DeMarcus Cousins. They had
the Warriors
centers.
Are such an exception to the rule.
That is true. That is true.
That team was
Warriors are an exception to the fact that the Warriors became how we think of the Warriors is wild. Still, it's not like they obviously they would end up eventually getting Kevin Durant, but at first it's not like they just got this player, they just got that player. No, they just hired Steve Kerr, and all of a sudden Steph Curry turned into an MVP.
And Steve Kerr, one of the best, one of the most underrated shooters, I think, that we
he is the best he is the best 3-point percentage of all time.
We talk about Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Steph Curry, obviously, but him as a player fits so well into Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's roles as players.
If you, I don't know. I
just more like Clay.
If you took 25 years off of Steve Kerr, he would fit into the Warriors' offense.
He would be such a good backup.
You can't say that about any other coach.
It'd be so crazy. Tyronn Lue would be awesome for the LA Clippers right now.
Okay, here's an interesting hypothetical. If you have to replace your team's best player with your head coach, and they have to play the same amount that player would have played, which team wins the championship?
Who's Wes Unseld coaching for right now? Wes Unseld
Jr.
Head coach.
Head coach. Hold up. Now I got to think. This is a good one.
Isn't it the Wizards? I think it's the Wizards he's coaching.
I mean, I think the easy answer is the Warriors. But
it's the Nets. It's the Nets.
It's the Nets.
True.
Never mind. Never mind. Steve Nash, bro. What are we talking about? Holy cow!
It's Steve Nash. 1,000%.
Yeah. Nash.
Now, if we're talking about GMs, James Jones on the Suns in place of Chris Paul dominates. We're talking 60 points a game. Prime James Jones was a beast.
Yeah.
Call him champ. He was the one that won LeBron all those rings, not LeBron.
Yeah, because he was with LeBron for
6 rings in a row, or not 6 rings in a row, but six finals in a row. Yeah, what a weird one. And sorry, last thing I want to talk about for the Cavs is the Cedi Osman comeback season. Cedi Osman is 6th in the league in 3-point percentage. He's shooting 50%. In his last 4 games, 17 points, 13 points, 12 points, 20 points. Those? 3 or 4 of them are wins?
You gotta love what you see out of Cedi
He's been
Osman.
going crazy. I think the bottom line is that
last year, like I wanted to punch a hole through my TV watching that man play.
He was rough last year, but last year he was asked to do way too much on an offense that could not produce without him.
Yeah.
He was asked to ball handle. He was asked to shot create, and that's not who he is. He can run a little bit, he can handle a little, and he can shoot a lot, and that's all that we need him to do. Like, did you see? It was shades of LeBron. So yesterday during the Toronto game with like a minute and a half left, he comes down. There's like an open layup, and he comes down flying with a LeBron chase down block.
That's wild.
Dude,
I didn't watch the game yesterday, but that is wild.
I near cried. It was beautiful. The ghost of LeBron still haunts the Toronto Raptors stadium.
I think to wrap up this segment, which was about 25 minutes, by the way, excluding the intro, or including the intro, the Cavs look good. There's a lot to look forward to. And now we are going to shift over to football, which I think is going to take a little while. Because there's been a lot.
Because there's a lot to unpack.
There is a lot.
Not just amongst the Browns, but the entire league. The trade deadline just stopped. Let's start there. The trade deadline.
Yeah, let's start there.
Von Miller was the big deal of the trade deadline. He was sent to the what seems to be the Super Bowl favorite Rams.
Yeah. For
a second and third round pick. Who do you guys think won that deal?
Rams. So the 100%. Yeah. I'll let Jacob talk because he hasn't talked much, but I have something to pitch in after this.
All right.
So here's how I think about it. The Rams GM is a genius. Did you guys see that his kids got him a mug that says "fuck draft picks"? Like,
oh my god.
The Rams have this mentality that like the player we can get now is so much better than taking a risk on draft picks. Draft picks are inherently a risk.
Exactly.
The Rams would rather have a proven player, even if they're aging, than they're willing to give up their future. You know, their future's already fucked. Let's fuck it even more. You know, let's take on Miller. Let's win the Super Bowl and think about the consequences later. Like obviously, those second and third rounders are not going to save them in 5 years when they're good players. You know, Donald's retired, Ramsey's out of his prime, Stafford's retired. It's not going to save them. So just go all in now. Win yourself a ring. You know, they're definitely the favorites, I think.
Yeah.
Win yourself a ring now and deal with the consequences later. Same with what the Saints kind of did a few years ago.
The last time they had a first round pick, they said they picked Jared Goff number 1 overall, and they said they don't want to do that again anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think I mean, I like the deal. I love the deal really for the Rams because like they're already in a mode. If they don't win a championship in the next 2 years, like
it's over.
It's really it's over for the Rams, and they'd probably have to look to rebuild.
Yeah.
But so why, like Jacob said, why not just go in more? Like why not just push all the chips into the table? Like we haven't really seen a lot. We haven't seen like this recently. And I mean
the fallout post this, they're gonna contend for like 2 or 3 years. The fallout after this will not be significantly softened by a second and a third. That's the bottom line.
True.
The Rams,
I mean, you can draft you could draft some pretty big pieces in the second or third round. It's not like that's never happened, but
I'd rather
the chances. But me too. But on the Broncos side, I think it makes a lot of sense as well because they're not a team that's contending. Like that's clear. I mean, and I think it gives you more. Not only gives you more draft picks to add on more young talent, you could also package that to move up because I don't think they're a bad deal. I don't think they're a bad team. So I don't think they're going to be in a position to take a Matt Corral, a Malik Willis.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I wanted to say, actually. A first, a second, and a third, and what you package like one of their young wide receivers, like he's just like example KJ Hamler. You throw KJ Hamler in there for a first, a second, and a third. You move up from your 16th spot to pick 5, pick 8.
I think if you're moving up that much, it's probably 2 1s. But yeah, I understand where you're going with that.
I don't think the Broncos are going to be in the 16th spot though. I think they'll be lower. Just as a note.
As
So-
in lower, as in like more closer to like the 20 spot.
Like closer to 10.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
talking about higher
so
up in the
that
draft.
makes it easier for
Yeah.
them to move it up. So they move up to 6, and this isn't a great I like a lot of the quarterbacks. I think they're
I don't-
interesting,
Yeah,
but I think that it's more like I don't think quarterbacks are going to get taken in the top. I think you're going to see a lot of teams trading up for Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, do the Lions
I don't-
really want to take?
I mean,
Thibodeau?
like the last time we had, I would say the last time I'd probably think we had as weak of a QB class as we did now was 2016, and we saw 2 QBs go 1 and 2, and Jared Goff and Carson Wentz.
So,
But at the same time, a lot of the teams that I think are going to be at the top may not truly take a QB, like the Jaguars.
talking
they're not
about
taking
Thibodeau.
the Jets are not going to take a quarterback, but there are some. And there's a lot of really good talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball,
Yeah.
that should be
Yeah.
taken at the top of the draft, like Thibodeau or Jordan Davis or Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah. So while talking about Thibodeau, what you were saying about trading up to get him, I really think the Lions will take Thibodeau first overall. I think that's
1,000%. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Lions are right now the most likely team to get the first overall pick, and their defense doesn't really have a guy who can wreck the game. And that's what Thibodeau does. I see a lot of Myles Garrett in him.
I think
he's so good.
I think Thibodeau. I think or you have a coach that wants to build through the trenches. If you have a great defensive line, then it's going to make things easier for everything else, anyways. Yeah. So you already spent 2 draft picks on 2 defensive tackles that have looked decent this year, Levi Onwuzurike, Ayla McNeil. And now you add on, you already have Deshaun Hand, you have Michael Brockers, you have Romeo and Julian Okwara off the edge. You add a superstar onto that defensive line, and this is what Thibodeau is. He's a superstar. You're looking at a really good defense, and you're probably looking at, I mean, the QB position is going to be interesting for them next year. I would think if I were the Lions, if I wanted the QB, I'd take the Rams first round pick that they have, which was going to be late in the round, and their top early second round pick. I'd use that to move up.
I agree. I'd take a mid round QB. So like a QB,
probably Sam Howell or something.
Either that end of the first. I wouldn't move up. I'd either use that end of the first pick or the beginning of the second pick.
I'm not wasting a late round pick on a quarterback if I'm the Lions. I want a superstar or just
somebody who can develop into something like that.
Yeah.
Like I think there's probably realistically 4 quarterbacks that could be picked in the first round. Matt Corral, Malik Willis, Sam Howell, Carson Strong.
Give him Malik Willis every day of the week. I don't
think any of those 4 guys will be there in the late rounds. So, or late first round. So
I think I think we're going to see Spencer Rattler as a starter
in the NFL.
Yes,
he's going to be a steal
next year.
For someone, he'll be a really big steal for someone.
They'll take him in like the 3rd or the 4th round, and it'll be a team who has like a quarterback, but they just want to throw him out there and see what happens.
Like someone like something. I don't me personally, I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to declare. I think he's probably going to transfer to a pretty decent school and get his draft stock back up.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
That's what I would personally do. But if he were to declare, then he's probably like a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, and I would probably think a team that has a quarterback who's probably done developing and isn't like he's not bad, but he's not gonna like what would be a team that fits that?
Seahawks.
Nah,
I'll take
stop.
Seahawks.
I would probably lean more towards a team like
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Steelers is a good
Pittsburgh. That's a team. Or I wouldn't say I would say like if this was the beginning of the season, I'd say the Raiders. But I think Derek Carr is probably has proven.
I love Derek Carr. He just like I feel like who's it like obviously Darren Waller, but like he needs more help. I'll say it. He doesn't.
Let's talk a little bit about the Raiders. All right.
Raiders need a 30 for 30 on this team. Like
It's
John-
so stunning.
What this team has gone through this year, and like the past of some of these players, like Darren Waller and Richie Incognito,
Josh Jacobs.
you have Josh Jacobs, what he's been through, Carl Nassib, the only openly gay player in the NFL.
Shout out Carl Nassib. Wow.
What else? What other great? John Gruden being fired in the middle of the season. Obviously, the Henry Ruggs situation.
Yeah.
And they're 5-2. All of this, and they're 5-2.
Damon Arnett waving around
Damon
a gun.
Arnett just crashed a car as well.
Well, he's like waving around a gun and like threatening to kill someone. It's so weird.
The Raiders. That's just the like.
Just to hang on to that John Gruden thing for a second. It's ridiculous that Dan Snyder hasn't been fired yet.
That's true.
That's to be honest with you, there's a lot of people in every profession that's fired if personal emails and text messages are.
That's true.
But
it's not his emails and texts. He says these things openly.
And Dan's like what the cheerleader case, the Washington football team cheerleader case was opened 3 years ago. Zero, nothing been done. In the NBA, if he did this, he's out of there immediately.
Yeah, that's what I love about the NBA. That's what I love about Adam Sandler. He's the best. He's the best.
Adam Sandler.
What? What do you mean by that?
I meant Adam Silver.
Adam Sandler is the shadow commissioner of the NBA.
Hey man, give Adam Sandler an NBA contract.
Adam Sandler will be restored on election day.
What I was trying to say, Adam Silver is a lot more progressive than the other, like
every other commissioner ever.
Was it
Roger
Silver?
Goodell?
Stone Age.
Silver who forced out the Clippers
and then
owner?
Yeah,
Steve Ballmer.
It might happen with the Suns owner and the Blazers owner because both of those investigations.
Oh yeah, Neil Olshey just had that broke today.
Yeah,
which
is
a whole nother story. But we want to get back to football. We just had our NBA.
Yeah, let's go back to football. So let's go back to the Raiders. All right. What they've gone through and the fact that they're 5-2 is still kind of wild. I kind of wanted. Do they play tomorrow?
I'm sure they do.
I think so. I want to root for the Raiders so badly this year, just because Carr deserves it and Waller deserves it. Those two guys are like the beacons of hope in this team that's gone through so much. They're they're the two buildings standing through all the rubble. Waller is, by the way, I don't know if this is such a very hot take. Waller is in the Kittle-Kelsey tier.
Yes. Hey, this is even hotter hot take. I think he's the most talented, not the best, but the most talented tight end in the league.
I think it's an interesting take. I wouldn't say I can't agree or disagree with it. I feel like haven't watched that many Raiders games.
I feel like he can do everything Kelsey can do. Like I understand Kittle as a blocker, he brings a lot of value there. But in terms of a receiving threat and what he can do with the ball in his hands, Waller can do everything Kittle and Kelsey can do.
I think it would be interesting to see Waller with a top tier QB. Because I think Derek Carr's a top 15 QB. He's not.
Given Patrick Mahomes, and he's putting up 1,600 yards in a 17-game season.
Okay,
absolutely, he's having a historic year.
Or give him a good Patrick Mahomes, not this year Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. I think talking about ability, you talking about Waller's abilities. I think so there's this. You take the three elite tight ends. Mark Andrews, whatever. He's been good this year, but leave him out for now.
Yeah.
Kelsey is the best right now. He's had the best career.
Fair.
And he has the most accolades. But he's on the decline. Last year was his peak year. The decline begins now.
Yeah, I don't. There's no way you're topping that year. I'm sorry, Travis Kelsey, but he was third in the league in receiving yards as a tight end. I'm sorry, you're not topping that.
And then you got Kittle, and Kittle, incredible first couple years in the league. Last year, destroyed by injuries. I believe this is his fourth year, right? Kittle, a healthy Kittle, which we may never see a fully healthy Kittle again. But a fully healthy Kittle,
prime Kittle,
a fully healthy Kittle, if he comes back next year, which is the beginning of his prime, and is healthy, Kittle has a real shot to break Kelsey's record. Take it back. And then you got Waller, your third option.
Wow, hot take.
In that offense, I just don't see it happening.
I
That's
think
just me.
Trey
Yeah, I
Lance
just don't
needs
like
safety
it's
valve.
Like, I mean, I understand that, but like,
No, I
that
guess that's
49ers
true.
team is
When you-
wild
when
too,
they
but
put-
we'll
they put
stay
so
stay
much-
off that for right
they
now.
put so many resources into that running back room. They value running backs at a higher rate than anybody else does.
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson.
You gotta wonder
Why-
what went on in training camp for Elijah Mitchell to pass Trey Sermon when he was drafted three rounds later. But that's another story.
Yeah, we'll keep off of that team for right now because I want to talk about the Browns a little bit.
Yeah, let's
Just
get on
a
the Browns
smidge.
now. All right, so big news.
I have a couple of talking points here. Obviously OBJ. We'll just start on OBJ.
Start with Beckham. Yeah.
Period.
Oh man. Okay.
Um,
Net positive or net negative?
I think that it's good. So again, I got stats to back me up this time, which is why we haven't seen that this episode. Not to me talking out of nowhere, but last year when OBJ went out after that Cincinnati game, Baker Mayfield has a QB rating of 95.6, top 10 QB rating. He looks crazy. I think that OBJ, I don't want to slander him. He was such a great locker room guy. His teammates respect him. I loved OBJ as a Brown. Just net positive for having him on the team. I think he gave a lot of good advice to the younger receivers, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz. But I think that we're going to see some crazy Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. I think Baker, I love Odell on the team. I just don't think there was a coincidence that 2018 and 2020, the 2 years without Odell, were Baker's best years.
Yeah.
I think that offense, it's probably more built for it's not built for a star receiver like him. His talents, and I think that's
his
really talents are. I think
the Browns' offense is not built to sustain a star receiver. I think that's a really good take.
It's kind of weird to say. It's like how can you have an offense that what offense in the league can you think of that is as good as the Browns and doesn't have as a high level receiver? What offense in the league does not have a high level receiver?
1 second, let me think about that because I want to see if I can come up with an actual answer before we keep on talking. So let me just take a minute to think about that one because
you could say
that's
the Ravens.
A good question. I think
the
Ravens is good. Ravens is a good idea.
You could say the Raiders if you don't count Darren Waller, he's functionally a wide receiver.
If Waller was a couple inches shorter, he's a wide receiver. Yeah. So,
and
you could say that about almost every tight end, but his skill set just makes him
would make him a great wide receiver. I think the Ravens is a good example. I think Mark Andrews is an acceptable comparison as a number one target to Jarvis Landry, right? We'll say that. So, and I think obviously Lamar is such a good quarterback.
And I think I would say a star receiver would make the Ravens offense better, but we clearly just saw the Browns. A star receiver did not make their offense better. So I think, and they may have that in Rashad Bateman. Who knows? We haven't seen him play enough yet. But,
I'm excited to see Bateman play.
But I personally do think that it's a net positive to let him go. But also it was a net. I think it's a net positive. I mean, I can't speak anymore.
Let's just say thank you, Odell. It's a thank you.
I'll be right back.
I appreciate
you guys keep talking to me 30 seconds.
All right.
I appreciate what Odell did. I still remember it was mid-March of 2019. I saw the alert on my phone that Odell was traded to the Browns. I told my brother, who was the biggest Odell fan at the time, ever, every kid at that time. He didn't believe me, and I showed it to him. It was that's so wild.
Everyone wanted to be Odell. Odell was such an icon at the receiver position. The catch makes him that, right? the back. Everybody wants.
Everyone says, "Hey, yo, Odell me." Like that's like
no,
that's some type of like Kobe type. Like I'm not.
That's unreplicable. Like that's like saying Curry when you shoot a three, or the Kobe when you shoot a shot. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I mean.
But yeah, now it's Donovan Peoples-Jones, wide receiver 1 season.
And I don't love. So this is actually what I wanted to talk about. What free agent wide receivers do we go after next? Because I don't think that the Browns receiving room can exist as it is. I know the trade deadline to
Jarvis Landry. I'm sorry, like great player. It's not a coincidence that this franchise turned around when he came here. But man, like he kind of cost us last week's game, and it's just for every great highlight he has a bad drop. It seems like that's the way for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So, Landry and I don't think, and Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Schwartz at this moment don't seem like. Yeah, I just said that this team doesn't need a star receiver. They need comparable, receiver twos across the board.
So what I would say is. Number one, Landry escaped so much criticism because of the Odell controversy. Number two, Sam is bugging out. Number three, don't put Peoples-Jones and Schwartz in the same category, because DPJ is an acceptable wide receiver too. Schwartz is just a deep threat. That's what I have to say on that.
All right, so I have a list of the free agent wide receivers right here. So, number 1, Deshaun Jackson. He just got released. So my vote is we sign Deshaun Jackson, John Brown, or like Golden Tate. Is Golden Tate a free agent?
Yeah. I don't remember. Did he retire? I thought he retired.
Anyway, so my two votes are John Brown and Deshaun Jackson.
John Brown is a good one. So, I don't think we need a Deshaun Jackson type player because Schwartz is our deep threat. But John Brown is a good idea.
John Brown would open the field up for a guy like Donovan Peoples-Jones and even Landry himself. I think, and honestly, I think we just need to utilize our tight ends. Like David Njoku is probably I would say he's the best tight end on the roster. Like, I think that's a fact.
That's so true.
He's the most physically gifted. There's a reason he was a first-round pick. Obviously, he hasn't lived up to those expectations still, but him, Hooper, Harrison Bryant, what other team can say they have that trio of tight ends? So I would say we just utilize our tight ends more as receiving threats. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we could still make the playoffs and make a pretty decent run without signing a receiver. That's just me, though.
So because I want to get to the Benchwarmer segment and the trivia segment, I just have one last thing to add for this NFL bit. Yeah. So there are our little scouting for the Bengals game here comes up tomorrow, or I don't know when you guys are watching. I don't even know when you guys are listening to this, but whatever. So my number one worry, we obviously know about their high octane receiving core, their high octane offense in general. Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. I don't know why Jamar Chase wasn't first. Yeah. There's another guy, I'm sure, but CJ Uzomah, because everybody else all of their other offensive pieces take the defense's eye away from him. He has scored 5 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He's going to be a big worry for us. We probably throw linebackers in coverage against him. I don't mind if we just,
to be fair,
let Joe Burrow have a little bit of time. 4 of those
touchdowns were in 2 games.
Okay, sorry. Fair. But that should be even more worrying, I think, actually, if he's getting that high volume looks. Yeah. So their high octane offense is obviously going to be a problem. I think that if Mike White picks apart their defense like he did, like Baker Mayfield is going to have a field day. It's going to be crazy.
I think. I think history repeats itself. We all know that. And last time Baker went into a game without Odell.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The first game that he went in the season without Odell, we saw what happened. We saw what he did to the Bengals. He owns the Bengals. He's lost once in his career to the Bengals.
I can't think of anything catchy to go with Cincinnati and Baker like LeBronto, but it's the equivalent of that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we just have to offensively. We need to just be us, run the ball.
Pound the rock.
We have our offensive line. Their defense has been very good this year. I think that's the biggest reason why they're as good as they are. I know their offense has been amazing. Joe Burrow's clearly taken a step from his rookie year, but their defense, I felt like that offense, even with that high level offense, the defense was the worry, and their defense has been great.
Yeah.
I have a couple of notes just to say about that. Not about what you're saying. I'm just saying about the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think offensively, obviously, Jamar Chase is the guy to stop. You stop him. It's not over once you stop Jamar Chase. They have two other good receivers, and obviously, as Sam pointed out, CJ Uzomah.
And T. Higgins.
Yeah, but
Oh, I forgot about T. Higgins. I didn't even mention
the player to watch on defense, I think, is Trey Hendrickson.
1,000%.
He can. I think he's gonna have a big game, which scares me. Jack Conklin's out. Hendrickson lines up against the right tackle. I think Hendrickson is gonna make some big plays.
I think it's a lot of double teaming him.
Yeah. Is Baiden muted?
He just.
I can't hear him.
Something just happened.
Yeah, Baiden, we can't hear you.
But the other player that I actually wanted to mention was Chidobe Awuzie. I think I just butchered that one.
Yeah,
Chidobe Awuzie.
Oh, there we go. He's back.
All right.
Chidobe Awuzie.
I had internet issues. My bad.
Anyway, but he came in for Will something Jackson at quarterback. He's played really well. I think he's going to be a real threat to Baker in the passing lanes today.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I think also Mike Hilton. He's been actually kind of underwhelming for the Bengals so far, but he's a good corner, and I think he can handle Landry.
He's a slot corner who kind of does a great job of blitzing
Landry
off the edge and stuff, and
Landry
he's solid.
His core is a slot receiver.
Yeah, that is true.
All right, so
I think the way the Browns win the game is Nick Chubb over 100 rushing yards, Donovan Peoples-Jones over 100 receiving yards.
Yeah,
those are my two specific keys, and I think obviously don't let Joe Mixon get a lot of touches through passes. He's not that great as a runner, but as a receiving back, he's pretty dangerous. So that's something to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But also give him a lot of touches because he's on my fantasy team. But yeah, I think Mixon is scary. Hendrickson, I think, is gonna blow open the game at some point or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. That's what I have to say about the Browns. Oh, and one more thing, just about the Odell trade. Sorry, Sam. I think we totally. I just want to go back to that a little bit. I think we totally bungled the Odell situation.
Bungled?
Word of the day, bungled.
Bengals? I get the joke.
But, we didn't get any value for him, which is what pisses me off. If he had requested a trade. He requested one before the deadline. We could have gotten something for him. If we had, I think a deal with the Saints could have worked out.
I mean, the Saints,
what do you think the Saints wanted? What were the Saints willing to give up that the Browns said, this doesn't work for us?
We probably wanted a player, and I'm not sure if there are any players that because I think just Odell has such a big, I think he's a pretty big cap hit, and we just.
And also, I think on the Browns side as well, they would have had $15 million in dead money on the table.
That's true.
Anyway, but at the same time, Odell was $15 in dead money on the team, anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not why are we targeting? We're paying him $15 million to be targeted twice.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's a good wrap up for the NFL segment. I got my list of 4 bench.
Last thing, # free Brandon Cooks. That's it. Free Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, free Brandon Cooks. I agree. All right, so our Benchwarmers segment, name of the podcast. So these are my four benchwarmers from the NBA, but they're not really benchwarmers. They just came off the bench, so I'm cheating a little bit here. Who absolutely dominated It's the Friday slate of games. So we got Buddy Hield, Sacramento Kings. I know that he's not a bench warmer. He's a sixth man, but I'm counting him because he came off the bench and played 30 minutes. Dominated the Hornets 140 to 110. 30 minutes, 26 points, 9 of 18 field goal, 8 of 17 from 3. Crazy stuff.
Honestly, just stay on Buddy Hield. Trade him, Kings. Trade him.
He's not
he's
not part of your future.
He's not part of your future. Trade him, a pick or two. Go get Ben Simmons. Why not?
We'll come back to that another time because we don't have time. But I want to come back to a Ben Simmons trade idea. Number 2, Anthony Simons. Sorry if I did that wrong.
I think it's
Portland Trailblazers. They eked out a win against the Pacers, 110 to 106. Anthony Simons off the bench played 21 minutes, 16 points, 6 of 10 field goal, and 4 of 6 from 3. Just an electric young player. He's fun to watch. I love him.
Sam, I think you're bugging out a little bit.
That's just must be on your end because he's not bugging out.
I think
he's not bugging out for me.
Oh man.
And then Golden State Warriors, Gary Payton II, the Glove Jr.
Gary Payton went crazy.
Yeah.
18 minutes, 17 points, 7 of 10 field goal, and 6 rebounds, and an electrifying poster 2 nights in a row. Dude, he's crazy. Yeah. He looks so good. I mean, he's just fun. And then the man, the myth, the legend, the last Jedi, the Turkish terror. I'm making that name work. Jetty Osman.
Yeah.
26 minutes, 17 points,
Osman.
5 of 10 for 3, and a chase down block with echoes of LeBronto. Magnificent.
He has really turned around his season. He looked really bad the first couple games.
Yeah. No, he looked good. This is his comeback season. I didn't mention it earlier during the Cavs segment, but he is 10th in Cavs history in 3 points made.
Right, that's impressive. Where does Kyle Korver rank there? Where's Kyle Korver on that list?
He looks like Kyle Korver. His
shot looks like Kyle Korver 1,000%. I'm not gonna. That is very accurate.
It's much prettier than my Brook Lopez jump shot.
Never played a year for this team. There's a year and a half.
Yeah. Something like that. Something stupid.
Kyle Korver has less threes for the Cavs than Chetty Osman. Number 1 is LeBron James.
My GOAT.
LeBron, of course. Then you got Kevin Love.
That makes sense.
Mark
Kevin's
Price.
played for a while. Mark
Kyrie.
Price, obviously. Kyrie.
J.R. Smith.
Bro, J.R., my 3-year man.
Makes sense.
You got Daniel Gibson.
Booby Gibson. I actually have a bobblehead of him right here. My Booby Gibson bobblehead. Let's get it.
I got a J.R. Smith bobblehead. I got an Anderson Varejao bobblehead.
I got my Iman Shumpert bobblehead too. My God.
I have a Kevin Love, and I think I have.
I had a Kevin Love one, but I broke it on accident.
Yeah, I have 2 Kevin Loves. Actually, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I had a Tim Couch bobblehead in my grandma's house as well.
All right. So those are my bench warmers from last night. If I had a little more time, I would have gone back for the whole last week, but we're just going to do it for last night. And then I have 3 pieces of trivia. All right.
Can I give my bench warmer of the month first? Bench warmer of the month. I don't think this one's close. He's an NFL player.
I already know this is going.
Sam knows this. Mike
White.
Mike White is the ultimate bench warmer. Comes off the bench behind a struggling rookie QB who gets hurt. White dices up a top 10 defense, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks that weren't his fault.
They were not his fault.
Just like bad misses by the wide. I'm a Jets fan. I know it. I watched the game.
The best part, ultimate bench warmer fashion. He gets hurt the first quarter of the next week. He's going to secure himself a huge deal based off this 1-game sample size, and I'm all for it. Mike White, bench warmer of the month.
Let's talk about the other bench warmer for that game. Josh, what is it? It's Josh Johnson, right?
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson? I thought it was Joe Johnson.
He throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick that isn't his fault. The receiver let it slip through his hands. Matt, dude, this is the most exciting Jets team I have watched since Fitzmagic, and I am here for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The Jets are not going to be good, but they will be fun to watch.
That's so true. And I think
QB controversy in New York.
3-way QB battle. Awesome stuff.
Joe
awesome
Flacco
stuff.
got a 4-way QB battle.
Oh, I forgot Flacco's on the team.
Bro, I forgot that we should have traded for Gardner Minshew, honestly, but that's it.
Minshew
I mean, Flacco's or they traded with the Eagles, so
yeah.
I mean, Gardner Minshew there's probably a little bit more controversy in that one since he's a younger player but
Minshew never got his shot. I mean, he did, but not really.
That's a story for another day, I think. And I think that wraps it up pretty nicely with our bench warmer of the month, Mike White.
Mm-hmm. What's the time looking like, Jacob? Like what? How long?
We just hit an hour.
All right, so I want to do 2 pieces. I want to do my 3 pieces of trivia. All right. So, who scored the Cleveland Browns' very first touchdown? You can choose from 4: Jim Brown, Otto Graham, Marion Motley, or Max Speedy.
I think it's Motley.
I think it's Max Speedy.
All right. So I'm gonna keep a little tally. I got a page in my book about who's got the trivia. So what?
It's gonna be Speedy.
So what? Jacob and Baiden. So we're gonna keep a little tally. So is Motley or Speedy? It's not Motley. It is Max Speedy.
Yes,
Browns
sir.
receiver Max Speedy scored the team's first points on a 19-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Cliff Lewis. So that's 1 point for Baiden. All right. My second piece of trivia. How old was the oldest player ever drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Oh my gosh.
25,
oh my
29, 23, or 27 years old?
I know who it is. Shoot, I'm blanking on the age because I know who it is, but I'm blanking on the age right now. I think
this is really recent. This is pretty recent too, but
it's got to be 20. I'm not gonna look it up. I can look it up really easy. But I think he was 27.
Jacob, your guess?
I'm gonna say 29, just because Baiden said 27.
I think it's 29 too. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna say 27 now.
Lock it in. Lock it in right now.
Let's take it 29.
27.
Baden's got 29. You've got 27.
27.
It is 27. Bernard James was selected with the 33 overall pick overall pick by the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2012.
It was Bird. I thought it was what's his face?
He is also the oldest player ever drafted in the NBA at 27 years and 148 days old.
You mean NFL?
NBA. This is Cleveland Cavs.
Yo,
I thought if it was NFL, I was gonna say Brandon Weeden.
Exactly, I was thinking Brandon Weeden. I swore you said the Browns, but it's cool.
No.
I might have been.
When I heard oldest player, I instantly thought Brandon Weeden, and then
I instantly thought Brandon Weeden. Like I don't remember. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember seeing the Cavs. But
and then our last piece of trivia. This is gonna. I mean, I'll keep count throughout our podcast.
All right.
It's 1-1 right now. Which Cleveland Cavaliers coach has the highest winning percentage? Tyronn Lue, David Blatt, Mike Brown, or Lenny Wilkins? I think I know who it is.
I think it was Lenny Wilkins was the coach of the 90s. I think
so.
I believe it's him. I mean, I could see it being Tyronn Lue.
I'm gonna say Ty Lue just because we were so good during that era.
I don't know the answer to this, so I'm not gonna keep count for me, but I think it's David Blatt because he coached for 1 season and we went like 52-30.
That's sure.
No, that was the year we had David Blatt was 2015. I think we won 59 games that year.
All right, so let's see. It is not Lenny Wilkins. It is David Blatt. I was right. 0 points for everybody else, but I'll take one for we'll take one for me on this one. It
never made any sense to me why David Blatt got fired.
Because none of the players liked him.
None of the players liked him at all.
I guess that's kind of
at the end of our first round of trivia, 1-1-1 tied up all of us. Jacob, you want to give us a little outro?
All right. Thank you, everyone, if anyone, for tuning in to the first episode of the Benchwarmers Podcast. We will, there will be more to come. We promise. We hope you enjoyed.
Pinky promise. I'll pinky promise you through the mic.
And we will catch you on the flip side.
Oh.